Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Bookbinders. Today we're analyzing Hits Different by Taylor Swift.
Off of the new Midnight's album. Sorry for the slow update. We've been kind of going through a few technical difficulties. I was obviously kind of sick. So yeah, now we're back. The Bookbinders are back. We're going to be filming a few more episodes. We have Hits Different for you. And then Yes to Heaven and I think Sweet Nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sweet Nothing. Okay. So, yeah, let's get into Hits Different. What were some of our first impressions?
I really liked it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cool. Also because it was released much later than the actual album. I think like 6 months later or something.
Well, it was originally a part of the Target edition. But then it got released for everyone.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, it's very cool that it had that unique element to some of the other songs.
Agreed.
Also, I just like the song.
Yeah, I remember listening to I think it was like a TikTok or something that she put out where she was like, I love the bridge, at the part where it was like, I pictured you with other girls in love, then threw up on the street. So that part, I remember liking it so much that I Googled the lyrics. I was like, what is this from? And then it was not actually a real song, but then I remember talking to people, they're like, oh, Hits Different. And then when it came out, I was like, what? Why did it have like the, oh my love slap? Like, it changed so much from the little intro part, so I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
We definitely really like this song. It's probably in my top 3 on Midnights just because it's a pop banger, and also I love the message in a way. I think it's kind of cute, and it has some really great lyrics.
It does have some really great lyrics. That's what I love about Taylor Swift, that she can write these like pop bangers that sound musically pleasing and also just are nice to dance to. Like, I feel like Taylor Swift is very much more dancing music than some Lana Del Rey songs. But she also has those like
whatever we categorize dancing as.
Well, like, if you imagine, it's easier to dance to Hits Different than Fingertips, I would say.
For sure. I mean, well, in some ways. It depends on how you want to dance.
Yeah.
But definitely, Taylor Swift can write really deep and meaningful pop music, and I think that's the point we're trying to get at here.
Yeah.
Great example, This Love. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so one word?
One word. Oh.
I don't even remember my analysis because I feel like I did this so many days ago when we were originally supposed to do when we were supposed to film the episode, and now we pushed it today. But I want to say something like Reckoning.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I would say something like good. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like good for you.
Good for you.
No,
Olivia Rodrigo.
Not in a good for you sort of way. Just like something that is good for you.
We should analyze her new song, but I mean, I can't see that. I can't see good for you, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I feel like we might have different analyses, so that's interesting.
Maybe.
All right, let's just get into the first lyrics.
All right.
So, I wash my hands of us at the club.
Yeah, I like this. I don't know.
Well, okay, so I think it has a pretty straightforward meaning in theory. It's just, at the club, something's going on with this person, and then she washes her hands after that moment that she had with the person at the club. They might have, like, perhaps danced with her, done something with her, whatever it was. Then she washed her hands to remove the whole memory. It's like removing a memory because it's almost unholy or like sinful to have that memory in your head. Therefore, she washed her hands of us.
I could definitely see that, yeah. For my analysis, I said that like she's trying to let go of someone, so she like tries to clean her hands, clean the memory, her metaphorical hands, but like clean the memory off her mind.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, by going to this club. Right. But then like if you think about the analogy, club bathrooms are filthy, and it's like hard to actually get properly clean. So trying to use clubs and getting drunk and like having this fun party doesn't actually wash the memory away.
I think that's cool how we had like a different take on this because I feel like that has a lot to do with human psychology. I feel like all analyses have something to do, and like the way you interpret music and lyrics has something to do with your human psychology, but I love how you thought of it as a club being an escape, and me, the club was the escape, and then after the club, she had to wash her hands at the end of the club. Like, yours was the club is the washing my hands, but for me, it was the end of the club is washing your hands, because you spent the whole time at the club, and the club is like a really big part of my analysis. I'm not sure about you, but that whole concept of like this one club is a really big thing for me. But you made a mess of me. Next lyric.
This one is like, I loved you so much that, and that the very fact that I loved you so much is what ended up effing me up, basically.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that at the baseline concept, but the way it fits into my storyline, it's like, if someone's making a mess of you at the club, it could generally mean that they could have perhaps, like, you know, when you're dancing, you get all like hot and sweaty or whatever, and you know, dancing is common at clubs. Yeah, so basically this person is like getting messed up at the club, wasted at the club, which is why she had to wash her hands at the club because of that mess that her partner at the club made of her.
I think I might see where you're going with this.
All right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. I thought it was straightforward. Maybe I'm just like thinking about things too much. I don't know. That's what we do here.
I pictured you with other girls in love.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's tie that into the next lyrics. Then throw up on the street. So go ahead.
Well, for mine, this was very straightforward. Just like, this main character got jealous because she suspected the person she loved other people, which is sort of a sign that, like, there's a distance or some sort of problem you need to address in your relationship. If, like, everything is making you jealous and you picture them in love, then there's probably some discussion that needs to be had.
Yeah.
And then threw up on the street, so jealous that she was physically sick from the jealousy and the bad coping methods, which in this case is like going to the club and trying to use the chaotic nature of the club to erase the memories, so to speak.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with everything that you just said, and I really like the, it's not a fun concept necessarily, but it's interesting because, I mean, you're picturing other people with your person, and the reason that you're picturing it is because there's some doubt. It's not an official relationship. Like, the way, there's only a reason to picture your lover with other people. It's because you're not in an actual formal relationship. So here they're asserting, hey, we're not in a real relationship, and then throwing up on the street could be the after effect of the club. Like, after they both part their ways at the club, you throwing up on the street due to a hangover, etc. That can be like just an after effect of their love. Like, and I feel like it's less related to picturing it, but it's more related to being at the club, making a mess of yourself, and then throwing up on the street, meaning that your love is almost this repulsive concept. Like, describing your love as being this mentally torturing thing where you have to take the physical reprimand by throwing up on the street.
I can definitely see that. And I like that analysis, the like mental torture.
I've tried to
I don't
tie it in
not
uniquely.
like it, but you know, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
And it's an
for sure.
interesting
I mean, we can't all have the same analyses. Okay. Hold on. Next lyrics.
Like waiting for a bus that never shows.
I like the way she says this. Yeah, so once again, they're not in a formal relationship because clearly Taylor, main character, narrator, is saying, I pictured you with other people, other girls, and threw up on the street. So she's saying that you were like a bus that never showed. Like, I counted on you to take me places. I counted on you for our love to have success, but you never showed up. Like, you never went half the way for me.
I think I got a pretty similar analysis. For this, like, waiting for a bus that never shows in the relationship, she's waiting for some kind of sign that the other person wants to make it permanent, and the other person loves her eternally, or like properly, and that just doesn't appear. And when it doesn't appear, you don't have really any other choice.
Precisely. And then, I mean, of course, this line was quite obvious, but
yeah,
you just start walking on. Oh wait, yeah. So that connects to the last line. You just start walking on. Like, that means you kind of have to move on, but you won't get to your destination. Like, I feel like the destination in this is like finding this ultimate one true love, and like you just have to. I mean, the bus would have taken you faster. The bus would have been the correct route, but then you just have to walk. And the bus has a driver. Like, there's a person who's driving everything. They're gonna take you straight to your destination. While walking, that means you have to make your own mistakes. You're the navigator here. You have to take you to that one true love. So Taylor, being her own navigator by just walking on, is the idea that, you know, she has to navigate herself instead of already having this lover and knowing exactly where to go and how to get there.
I like that analysis. I would say the destination could also be like happiness or some sort of...
Yeah, for sure. It could just be an ultimate euphoria or an ultimate nirvana.
And then if that person had given her the sign, had the metaphorical bus that is love, could have taken her there quicker. But if it didn't show, then she needs to figure out how to get there by herself.
Right. And then next lyrics, they say that if you know it's right, you know. This reminded me a lot of like Margaret. When you know, or Margaret.
Margaret or Parasexes.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, go ahead. Do you wanna say something about that? Okay. So I mean, when you know, and I feel like what Taylor's trying to get at here, or rather the narrator, what the narrator's trying to get at here is like, if you know you're in love, you can't deny it, but you just have to keep walking on, which can show some reckoning here, because this lover that Taylor designated herself with, and Taylor meaning the narrator, obviously not the real Taylor Swift, because, I mean, it could be fictional, it could be a story about her life, so we won't make any assumptions.
Yeah.
However, you know, if you know it's right, you know. So Taylor knows that it's right perhaps for herself, but she can't accept the love to continue on, which is why she ends up picturing this person with other girls and all of these things. And there's a reckoning. There's this moment where there's this gap where they can't be in love. And this could be due to a lot of reasons. A lot of people speculate this is a queer anthem. Perhaps it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, there are so many signs.
Are there?
Yeah, I analyzed this whole song thinking it was a queer song.
You see, because I knew, like, that some people thought that, so I was trying to look for it, but I couldn't see the signs. Perhaps I need to...
Well, that's why it's a lot of reckoning for me, but go on.
Okay, well, for this line, they say that if you know it's right, it's right. It also reminded me of Margaret, that's what I wrote here. And also that, like, it sounds like advice, like she went to someone for advice, and her friends are like, oh, well, if you know it's right, then you can feel it. Like, trying to comfort her to tell her that she...
Yeah, and we definitely see that reprise in the chorus.
...needs to trust her gut, but it just ends up getting her more unsettled because she doesn't know, which means maybe it wasn't right, even though she might have desperately wanted it to be right. And I very much connected it to the next line.
All right, so the next line is...
each bar plays our song.
I can't even read through my analysis. Yeah, each bar plays our song. So go ahead, connect that.
So the connection is like, I had it as, this is also something they say. They say that if it's right, then you know. And they also say that each bar is going to like play your song, which is symbolic of like, you'll see the little things in the universe that line up so perfectly when it comes to that person.
Okay.
So, like, all the bars that you walk into together will play the song if it's love, because the universe aligns itself.
I really like that. I think that's great. And it ties in so well. Additionally, I looked at this line and I was like, oh my god, our song! But additionally, you know, if each bar is playing your song, I didn't take it as they walked in together, but rather Taylor walks in alone or with her friends. But that's like a little moment that only she notices. That's something that she notes, and she's like, each bar plays our song. Like, that's ours, and I'm noting that. Are you noting that? Like, did you ever see that? Which is kind of to show that, like, hey, I'm kind of committed to a relationship, but are you? So, yeah, that's my take on it.
I could definitely see that,
Yeah. Yeah. So the next line, nothing has ever felt so wrong.
What did you say for this line?
Okay, so connecting this back to the last line, if she's at the bar alone, if she's at the bar listening to their song without her lover, it perhaps feels wrong. It perhaps feels like, hey, it's our song, why aren't you with me? Why aren't you recognizing it too? So that's why it's feeling wrong in her head. Go on.
Yeah, well, I think a pretty similar analysis, because the line can only be taken in so many ways. But also connecting it back to the last song, like if they walk into a bar together and it's supposed to play their songs and it doesn't, it's just like their entire relationship, everything has been the opposite. Everything has like worked against them. The universe has almost worked against them rather than aligning itself perfectly. Yeah. They've had all sorts of troubles and challenges, and the main character might really love the person, but they're just seeing the signs of like it wasn't meant, if you want to believe in fate and divine intervention or whatever.
Okay. Oh my, love is a lie. SHIT, my friends say to get me by. So, I mean, obviously, I took it as, oh, my love is a lie, is a dialogue. I don't know. Yeah,
that's so, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's what her friends are saying. And, I mean, do you want to explain it or should I? Well, first. Okay. So, I'll start by saying that, well, she says that her friends are saying that her love is a lie, which is definitely where I saw the queer part come in, because a lot of people can be doubtful towards queer relationships or just some relationships that Taylor's been through in general. You know, like this could definitely tie back to Maddie Healy if they were ever actually dating. I don't know, nor do I support him necessarily. But, you know, lots of people didn't support their relationship. In fact, pretty much everyone did not support their relationship. So this is where the, oh, my love is a lie can be coming in, where her friends are like, why are you dating this person? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's a lie. Like, they don't actually love you. You didn't actually love them. You're delusional. And then she's kind of realizing it by saying SHIT. And then that's like the, oh, I realized it. And, you know, my friends to say to get me by, just to keep her moving, just to keep her writing these songs, keep her writing these angry whatever songs. And, you know, that's just like what her friends tell her to keep moving on, not to go through this whole pain and this whole like delusional, wistful thinking about this whole deep dive of like, oh, does he love me? Does she love me? Does she love me not? Does he love me? Does he love me? Yeah, so that whole thing. Definitely hits hard. Hits different. Okay, go on.
I mean, it's a pretty straightforward line, the dialogue. But I should have mentioned before that this entire song, at least for me, takes place after a breakup.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a messy, dramatic breakup. It was more like they faded until a point when it just didn't exist anymore. Oh. And that's almost heartbreaking than a messy breakup. How interesting. And so this love is a lie. Her friends try to get her out and go to the club. That's why she's at the club washing her hands. And I also have it like they're trying to help her through. In mine, they're trying to help her through rather than casting doubts on her relationship.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they're saying, but she can tell that they're just saying that because that's what people always say.
See, now I can see your good for you coming through. And I never took it in that context where it's like post-breakup, but rather reckoning in love. Reckoning, the relationship never happened, so she wants the relationship to happen.
I can see.
So it's a great way of like how, you know, two different analyses. Love it. Okay, go on.
Yeah, well, basically
Apologies
they're like, no, it's okay. They're trying to comfort her by saying like love doesn't exist, you don't need a person, whatever, but it's not sincere in some ways, because they're just trying to comfort her, and she appreciates that because it's like to get me by. She's acknowledging the fact that they're trying to help her, but she's also saying like it's not sincere what they're saying and not helpful.
Yeah, definitely agreed, because I mean, well, obviously not in the same context of my analysis, but I can definitely see that. And I mean, in that case, she has great friends. I mean, in some ways, maybe in my analysis, maybe she doesn't have great friends. All depends. Maybe her friends are really saving her from a bad relationship. Anyway, she says, it hits different. It hits different this time. And I can definitely see this coming in for you. So go ahead.
Yeah, for me, definitely this fits because she doesn't feel like love is a lie. Mm-hmm. In that relationship, she felt like the love was real and she thought that it was mutual, but then the metaphorical bus never came. But she still doesn't feel like love is a lie. It's just sort of broken for her. It's hitting different this time, the whole relationship, because she loved the person and because they didn't reciprocate. But she doesn't necessarily agree that love is a lie.
Well, I think for me, mine was very straightforward because if it was a queer relationship, or her first queer relationship, because the song could have been written anytime out of her whole discography. Taylor likes to release songs haphazardly where it fits in the contextual meaning. But, you know, it hits different because it's the first time she's been in perhaps a sapphic relationship where she gets to engage with a different kind of publicity and a different kind of, tension. So it definitely, it's a different feeling for Taylor. So, I mean, Taylor being main character. And, yeah, hitting different this time, this love. Catastrophic Blues.
It's another...
Let's go.
Great example of, beautiful Taylor wording.
Yeah, beautiful lyricism. Love this, Taylor.
Catastrophic Blues. It just feels so... mix of reputation and folklore.
I love it. I feel like it's also very Lover. I feel like this whole song could fit into Lover, and I'd be like, oh yeah, definitely that's Lover. True, if I listen to it, I'd be like, yeah, Lover.
It also is very Midnights.
It is very Midnight.
The song itself is like Midnights. A love child between Lover and Midnights.
I think the thing about Lover is, well, different between Lover and Midnights is that the diction went skyrocketed in Midnights. Everything about her lyricism became so much greater. Not to say that Lover had bad lyricism. I'm just saying that Midnight's lyricism was immaculate.
You know, I think Lover, I appeal much more to the songs in terms of melody, and Midnight's much more in terms of lyrics.
I think I liked Midnight's overall. So, I mean, Midnight's was probably 3rd or 4th in my album ranking. So yeah, I liked Midnight's overall as an album, but I thought it was. I mean, they had some definitely great songs melodic-wise, but I really did love a lot of melodic songs from Lover, but I think it's all just different teenage eras where each song kind of resonates differently in each of those eras. So, Catastrophic Blues, we need to, let's go ahead and explain that. So,
Catastrophic Blues.
Go ahead.
Well, it's like she's so immensely blue from this breakup, at least in my analysis, that it's sort of wrecking her. That's how immense it is. I didn't really take it in any other context other than she just had this breakup, and it's not the breakup itself, it's the fact that she waited for signs that didn't come, and then she didn't see the other signs that were this person is not as in love with me as I am with them.
I think I definitely agree with that, but I took it, I broke down each word and kind of dissected the meaning of each one. So catastrophic, meaning a catastrophe, is this great corruption or this great thing where you feel broken into a million pieces, and then blue. So you're so crazy and sad. And I mean, I feel that just supports the fact that she's so delulu. And I feel a lot of things that come with a queer relationship is the uncertainty of do I really love this person or am I faking it? Because, you know, especially after coming out of lots of relationship with men and having multiple publicities with them, and with Joe and everybody. I mean, I'm sorry for tying this back into Taylor's real life, but this person probably has not been in a sapphic relationship yet. So catastrophic blues means this reckoning longingness, but still at the same time feeling so crazy and lost and unsure, is it real or is it not real? Am I faking it? Do I want attention? What is I can't understand my real motives. So with this whole thing, then like I wrote this whole song about it, about how it hits different, but is it real or is it not real? Yeah, sorry for the rant, but anything we want to say about this?
No, I think
all
I'm
right
done for this line.
Okay, so moving on was always easy for me to do. Oh, here's your
Yeah,
analysis.
here's my analysis.
Okay.
I could also see your analysis very much fitting into the lyrics in this too. I just never considered it before because I couldn't see it really.
Yeah. I mean, it could go both ways, honestly. And they could have had, I mean, in my context, they had a thing, they had a situationship, but they never had an official relationship, which could definitely work out because either way, whatever they had something. So, whatever it was that. But go ahead.
Okay, so moving on was always easy for me to do. This alludes to like a history of past romantic partners who, not that she didn't love them, but it's like she didn't have such an attachment, and we don't exactly know why there's a different attachment this time, other than 'cause it's you. But moving on was always easy for her to do. Like, she could always just keep walking towards that happiness that we were talking about earlier and find, like, some project or some other person to fill that sort of void that a person left after a breakup.
Yeah.
And she used to have no problem moving on. But that's when, love wasn't as real as it is with this relationship.
Yeah, definitely agree. And I think going back to what I had previously said, moving on was always easy because she wasn't confused. And I feel like this moving on moment is because she's confused if like she feels real emotions in this relationship or if it's just this all fabricated kind of elaborate scheme mastermind that she had created for herself to like have this void to fill. And then she filled it and now she's confused. Did I really fill it or am I just playing? Or I don't really know like what it, she's confused. She's confused.
Yes, definitely.
And then
it hits different.
It hits different
because it's you.
Yeah. And I mean obviously they repeat the chorus, but then it hits different because it's you.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about this. Pretty straightforward.
It's pretty much just like re-emphasis of the last time. Like this time it hits different because the love was real. At least to her it was real. Yeah. That's why she's so affected about it, because the person she really loved didn't necessarily love her as much as she thought.
Yeah.
That's why it's hitting different, because it was supposed to be long lasting.
Yeah, for sure. So I think an important thing to note is that because it's you, meaning that this person, whoever it was, kind of half reciprocated this love or this attention back and then ditched her at the last minute, or rather not, but whatever happened, there was this disconnect at this point, and that's why she wrote this song. So yeah, I used to switch out all these Kens. I just ghost.
This is where, when I was analyzing, I could definitely see the
the career thing, because it's okay. Well, so I'll start with that, and I'll say that I used to switch out all these Kens, meaning many different men, and like the Ken, the representation of the Ken,
whatever,
pretty boys, whoever. I mean, I'm not sure if all of them are that so pretty. Anyway, Jake Gyllenhaal, I see you. No hate to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Is he the one that looks like that lion from Madagascar?
I don't know. Okay, now we need to Google Jake Gyllenhaal. Just so I can show you. Hold on, no. Keep the recording on so you can see. I want to see your reaction. Hold on. Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know.
Oh, I see.
He's not particularly attractive to me necessarily. He looks like a gangster, especially in this photo.
He does look like that lion from that Madagascar movie.
Perhaps he does. That photo.
Ew. No, I didn't see that. Concerning. Okay.
Concerning. For sure.
What's that, like a 48 pack?
Yeah, and he's quite old now. Well, Taylor Swift is still quite young. Anyway,
yes. Yeah.
which is the whole All Too Well. We should dissect that later on. But I feel like there's so many analyses on All Too Well.
Wasn't John also older? Like,
yeah, John Mayer. Now we have to
18 years
Google
older.
I don't know how John Mayer looks like. He was in that.
He was like
band, right?
30 something, and she was a teenager.
Oh yeah, I remember what he looks like now.
I don't.
He looks like. Okay, I'm going to try to explain it to you.
All right.
And let's see if I get it correct. Okay, he's like a cross between Paul Wesley, aka what's that guy from Twilight's name? Edward. Ew. No. Okay, he's like a mix between Paul Wesley and Paul Walker Paul Walker? Yeah. Right?
Paul Wesley, who?
No, the guy from Twilight. And Stefan from Vampire Diaries. Like a mix between the two of them. Stefan from Vampire Diaries. Hold on. Do you not remember Edward? We watched
Cedric
the whole
Diggory?
movie. Not Cedric Diggory.
Edward from Twilight, the vampire, right?
Oh wait, are they the same person? I have no clue. Okay.
What's his name? Robert Pattinson.
Oh yes, Robert.
Oh my god, did I
spill
something to you?
No. Wait, then who's Paul
Wesley?
Paul Wesley is the guy from Vampire Diaries. My bad.
Wait, then who's the other Paul you said?
I have no clue.
Okay, anyways.
Anyway, so basically, Paul Wesley and Stefan from Vampire Diaries, like a mix of the two of them. And you know what they look like, right?
Yeah.
You know what they look like. Okay. Yeah. Now let's see if my description is accurate. Is it accurate?
You're so on point. It was accurate.
They have the same hair.
No, it reminds me of a cross between Jacob and Edward from.
Oh my god, you're right. Jacob too. Like if they're like sprinkled in a bit of Jacob, a bit of like Edward, a bit of Stefan, it would create this like John Mayer mix.
Anyways.
Yeah, we completely digressed for like 30 minutes, but enjoy our podcast. So yeah, I used to switch out all these Kens, these so-called pretty boys, Paul Wesley, that was not, sorry, John Mayer and Jake Gyllenhaal and whoever we want to call these
Harry Styles.
Kens. But Harry Styles is actually nice. And he's not attractive to me necessarily, but I know he's attracted to a lot of people. Timothée Chalamet kind of girl. But anyway, I just ghost. And I mean, I feel like at this point, she's kind of just using men to make up, it's like the confusion is kicking in now. The confusion is like, I'm just doing this for attention, so let me just get all the men in here, like, let me just get a bunch of these Kens, switch them out, and then ghost them, like, in the morning or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty much my analysis, just I think with different connotations.
Okay, go ahead.
So, like, there used to be all these dudes who were fake dudes who just looked good, and they were, like, no depth, no personality, basically just, like, empty plastic.
Yeah.
Like a Ken.
Yeah, like a Ken.
But then she just ghosts. Like, that was her process of breaking up before.
Yeah.
She would be the one to initiate ghosting after, like, at least in my analysis, it's after, like, a few heartbreaks as a younger girl, like, just rising to fame and getting into, like, dating famous people, and then she got her heart broken by them, so she would be the one to initiate the heartbreak, partially so she doesn't get hurt, and partially to have that power of being the one to, like, stop the communication.
Yeah, for sure, and that definitely ties in with exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, and then she just, like, stopped talking to them until they hated her, and that's how she broke up. She made them hate her until she rips the Band-Aid off, but, like, that was how she did it. She did it in probably a pretty bad way, I would say. Breaking up with people. And unlike this situation where things faded and there was no breakup, no asshole outlaw things. Do we? No, I mean, it's in the lyrics. It's
okay.
I mean, we can.
Okay.
It's like a minor.
Alright.
Minor.
Cool.
I mean, we can go.
Well, okay, fine. It's fine. If it's fine with you, then it's fine with me. Anyway, yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you were just saying, and I mean, regarding the rip off the Band-Aid, lyric. I mean, in a lot of ways, I kind of view this going both ways because I saw the lover, well, Taylor's lover could be whoever the sapphic love, and she would rip off the band-aid and then skip town, which led to Taylor's dismay. And then Taylor almost mimicked that behavior because that's what she did to her and that's the attention that she gave to her. So Taylor mimicked that gesture with all of these Kens. So that's what went through my mind.
Interesting. I could see, yeah.
Definitely tour. This is giving tour vibes. Skip town.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that because of the tours, that would be...
And that fits in perfectly with the Eras tour,
It's
which is
Billy.
probably why she released this song. I'm just kidding.
It is giving Billy, the whole skip town. Billy, that's his name, right? Billy from Daisy?
Oh, Billy. I just didn't know what Billy you were talking about. Billy Eilish, Billy Joel. What kind of Billy?
Oh my god, Billy Joel.
Yeah, Billy Joel. She's an uptown girl. Anyway, let's go. Do you want anything
Okay,
to
so
have...
rip off the band-aid. It's just like her process of breaking up would be stop talking to them, and then after like maybe a few weeks, few days, some amount of time of just no response, then she would just be like, I think we should break up, and just like rip off this band-aid and cause pain because she wanted to have that power after her heart breaks. And then she would leave sort of to put herself behind so she doesn't have to deal with the repercussions of repercussions.
I've always said repercussions, but
I know. I usually say repercussions. I don't know what I say.
Whatever it is.
She doesn't want to have to deal with it, and that's why she calls herself this outlaw because she's embarrassed by how she behaved.
Perhaps,
because she knew how heartbreak felt, and she was willingly and actively breaking other people's hearts. Yeah. And now again she's left in the spot of feeling dismay after a relationship, and she's like, I used to be so not mean, just like, I don't know, a jerk a bit.
Yeah, which is what I feel like she kind of sees in this girl. Like, she's like, yeah, you were a jerk to me, so I cannot be a jerk too. Which is probably a bad outlook and definitely not the way I'd like to view Taylor Swift. Next lyrics. Freedom felt like summer on the coast.
Well, actually, one thing to clarify.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying Taylor Swift is an asshole. I'm saying she sees her former actions as sort of jerk-like.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay, so...
Definitely, we love
like
Taylor
summer,
Swift as big fans. Anyway.
Freedom felt like summer then on the coast.
I feel like summer on the coast is such a sapphic thing to do. We see that in every sapphic story. So, it's definitely, like, Spain, coast of Spain. I want to be in Europe, living on the coast, in the beach, and run through the sand, living in a beach house with 2 dogs and a Subaru. Designated queer car. Anyway, freedom felt like summer on the coast.
Subaru is such a mom car.
That's exactly why. Because, like, it's perfect for camping. Except I'd like to camp alone. But,
Do gays go camping?
I don't know, you tell me.
I don't know.
Okay, freedom felt like summer on the coast. So I feel like she spent summer on the coast with her lover, whoever it was, which is why she remembers this skipping town, because after that she left the summer on the coast, leaving Taylor there. And yeah, they were both there. And this could definitely go for any lover in general. I mean, even it can also be taken in a very straight connotation. Summer on the coast. Summer I turned pretty. So yeah, it could be going either way.
For this, it was like freedom was that's how she described the aftermath of the breakup with the other people when she would like just leave town, and then freedom of like not having a lover felt great to her, and it was like luxurious almost to be free of that attachment, to not have someone there with her. That's what it used to feel like after she broke up with people.
Right. Now the sun burns my heart, and the sand hurts my feelings. So with this, I mean, the sun burning your heart, which once warmed you, it once brought this like warmth in you, it's burning your heart, which can imply that the warmth is not what's good for her heart. She can't handle it. She can't handle being in love. And the sand hurts her feet or feelings?
Feelings.
Oh, I have no clue what to say about that. So you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, that's a dog lyric for me, though.
Yeah,
sand hurts my feelings.
Sand hurts my feelings. I feel like that could be... Sand is annoying to a lot of people, aka Anakin Skywalker. So yeah, if sand is getting everywhere, and if that's... I feel like, well, in a way, because if sand is all over the place, and it's like all in your bags and all in your clothes, then when she finally goes back home and she remembers the sand, she sees the sand in all of her things, she's like, oh my god, it's hurting my feelings, I'm feeling so sad, like remembering our love on the coast. That's the best I can do.
That's interesting. I could definitely see that, yeah. For this, it's like, now that things that were once comforting, which is like the warm sun at a beach and like the feeling of the sand. And a lot of times the sand is like cooler.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always. Sometimes it's really, really hot and burns your feet.
Sometimes.
But like sometimes it's
depends
cooler.
where you are.
If you stick your foot in wet sand, then it's like nice and cooling. But now those things no longer bring comfort. The sun is burning. So like what you talked about, sort of like there's a different edge to the warmth. Now it's too hot. And the sand is no longer cooling and relaxing. It's just getting everywhere. And it's reminding me of what I lost because, you know, it's almost like when you're already emotionally sort of going through something and then like you have to deal with something that's frustrating, it almost magnifies it. And like sand getting everywhere is rather frustrating. So if she's already like catastrophically blue and then she has like sand all through her car and all through her clothes.
Subaru. Bring back
all
the
through her Subaru. It's the things that were once comforting are now terrible now that she has...
Yay.
Yes.
And I never don't cry. No, I never don't cry.
At the bar.
Okay, so we know that they had a romance at the bar. We know that they had moments at the bar. The bar is very special to them. And, you know, while hearing their song, while drinking their drinks, she's not crying about it. And I feel like she's almost reassuring, like, oh, no, I can't cry about it. But, like, she feels the tears welling up. And she slowly releases them as they create salt in her drink. I don't know. I try to be very poetic with that, except I can't be poetic unplanned. Go ahead.
I love the salt in her drink.
And the salt of her drink drips down her index finger, which has been cut by a small butter knife, and it burns the healing cut that once was healed by mitosis, or something like that. I don't know. Let's go. Tell me what you think about this line, and don't be poetic about it.
Oh, don't worry. I'm never poetic.
Oh, okay. I think you are, but go ahead.
So for this line, she's saying, like, I never don't cry at the bar. Well, yeah, basically that's what she's saying. And we look at the beginning of this song, she's at the club, and I take bar and club as sort of the same thing. So in the beginning of the breakup, she tried to, like, wash her hands, move on, forget, as she would normally do. But this time, all she can do is, like, sit at this bar and cry because bars never played their song, and she thought it was love.
Yeah. Definitely took it with similar... yeah, definitely sappy. Took it with definitely similar connotations. Anyway, next line. yeah, my sadness is contagious. I thought this line was really cool because we know that Taylor Swift is a singer, and if her sadness is contagious, she might be putting that into her songs and then spreading that to her listeners or her fans, and then they take that sadness and put it into themselves. So therefore, her sadness is contagious.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a similar thing. Also, like, you took my sadness out of context.
Ephemeris, far and complex. I am no candle in the wind. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway.
Is there anything else you want to say about
so
this?
for this one, like, I also analyze it as, since she's a singer, so, like, her sadness is obviously going to fuel music that she writes because that's just who she is. She's a writer.
Yeah.
And then when she sings those songs, people are gonna feel sad also. And
well, I think it's also in her voice.
Yeah, in
the
her
sadness
voice.
in her voice.
Like I've seen so many things of like, I'm crying. Taylor Swift burst into tears when she sang this song at concert.
Yeah.
Her sadness is going to have an effect on people.
I could attest to that.
When they see it, yeah.
Not me crying to the Eras Tour live stream.
They live stream it?
No, I just watched a random live stream from somebody's vlog, and Cruel Summer was the first track or something.
Oh.
I'm done. Anyway, yeah, so I mean, putting that into your music, the sadness is contagious, and a lot of your fans can be feeling that and relating to that. And then the next lyric, I slur your name till someone puts me into a car?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, if you're at a bar, you're getting drunk. Likely. And I feel like someone needs to take you home from there because, she's kind of slurring someone's name means that you want them, you're looking for them at the bar, and she finally expresses her sadness, she finally lets herself cry, aka fingertips, and then, she's waiting for someone to put her into a car and, take her home and, take her to her lover.
I definitely agree with that. And I got a very similar thing. It's slur your name. I also analyze it as she got drunk and now she's calling out for the someone who is basically the cause of all this catastrophic blues she's feeling. And it's not necessarily their fault that she's like that, which is why she's not angry. She's still calling out to them. It's no one's fault really that she feels like that.
Yeah.
She just knows that that person would be the thing to help, which is why she's calling out, slurring their name.
For sure.
Till someone puts her in a car. So it's till people don't want to hear her anymore and they just decide to help her.
Yeah.
And it could be her friends, potentially, or though you said you analyzed it with her having not great friends, but I mean,
it could be anyone.
Anyone really could.
And it could even be her friends,
her bodyguards.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know. Yeah, basically, it wouldn't be the paparazzi.
Bodyguards. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Next lyric. I stopped receiving invitations. And I mean, obviously Taylor being a singer and stop receiving invitations could mean that with all of everything going on, she basically is not getting invited back because she's so madly in love with this one person. She's so stuck. She's always slurring this person's name or whatever it is that she's doing. And, she stopped receiving invitations to everything because she's so obsessively in love with this one person. So everyone else is kind of hey, stop. You need to give yourself a reality check and come back down to earth. Not everyone's on your timetable, guys. I feel that's what it's kind of getting at here. Anyway, go ahead.
I could definitely see that. Yeah. For this one, I took it in almost the opposite direction of she stopped receiving invitations because her sadness is so contagious and she's just bringing people down with the fact that she can't move on from this love that she broke up with.
Yeah.
And so she stopped receiving invitations because people don't want to be around her and have her bring them down or bring their celebration down. And it's at this point it's almost like she no longer even loves the person who she broke up with.
Right.
It's no longer about them. It's just her holding on to her sadness because it's there and she doesn't know how to put it behind her. Like, she's already let go of the person. Now she just needs to let go of the lingering feelings.
Right, for sure. And I definitely agree with that. Then they do the whole chorus, and then we get this like really amazing second verse and bridge and all of that, which we love. I find the artifacts cried over a hat. First of all, 22 hat. I kind of like heard about the hat and I was like, 22? Because the hat from 22. Oh. And then, I mean, obviously finding artifacts of a relationship. This could be any little trinkets or gifts that you give one another. And then, crying over a hat, which I can definitely see like it being a past relationship, but it was never an official relationship. So these little secret scars are these small artifacts that have been, given to you in this relationship.
Yeah. Well, definitely, I would agree with that. And then also, like, if it's an artifacts are things like historical objects, right? And if you think about fossils or even historical objects, it's about things that have happened in the past, things that are now dead.
Yeah. So
just like the love that is dead now. And she's sort of subconsciously accepting the fact that it's over. And she doesn't need it to continue. It shouldn't continue. And it's not going to continue because it is over. That's why she found artifacts.
Yeah.
And they sort of tell a story of the relationship, and it's nice to look back at. But in reality, there's no going back to that relationship.
Yeah, because it's the past.
It's the past. It's gone.
The wise words of Elsa.
The past is in the past. And then that's why she cried over hat, because she still hasn't healed. And everything reminds her of what is now gone. Yeah. And even though she's sort of subconsciously accepted the fact that it's gone, and it's gone permanently, because that's honestly what's best for the whole situation, it's still gonna hurt a bit, which is why she's still crying.
And that's why she like pictured this person with other girls, and that's the whole thing. Like and I feel like going back to that queer thing, it's like if you're picturing somebody with other girls, it's like a reserved thing, right? Like, it's not, I mean, especially for Taylor, if we're assuming she's like bi, then it's a reserved thing. Like, it could go either way. And like, publicly, I mean, especially like really large pop stars, you don't know how comfortable they are in their, in their sexuality. So it's kind of like this thing where it's like, if you're picturing this person with other girls, like, oh my god, sorry to digress, but so crying over all these eras, like a hat, like the 22 hat, curse the space that I needed. Okay, so I mean, in this context, she could have asked for space in a relationship. She could have been like, once again, reminding me of the Red era when you said you needed space. What?
Then you come around again, say,
baby, I miss you and I swear I'm gonna change.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it could definitely be like, once again, a nod to all of these eras, and yeah, like all of this, the space that she needed, when really all she needed was to be with this person. Go on.
Well, mine is a similar thing, because she in this case is the one that broke it off. Like, she said that she needed space, and that's why that's why she's saying it ended, because she needed space. And even in the relationship, she could have been putting distance between herself and her lover because of the space that she needed. And now that it's over, and it's like decidedly over, she regrets distancing herself, sort of, because there are sometimes those thoughts of wondering, like, could I have saved it? Could I have done something different and made it not end? And that's sort of just like a process of dealing with losing something, whether it be a person or a relationship that you were really attached to.
Yeah, for sure. And then I traced the evidence, make it make some sense. So, I mean, with this, it's like, why did I ever request this space? Why did I ever request for our relationship to end? And so she tries to figure out, like, what did I do wrong? Where did I mess up in this relationship? And then, like, make it make some sense. Like, she's trying to figure out, like, did I ever really love this person, or was I faking it this whole time, etc., etc.
Yeah, I got a very similar analysis to that. So, like, tracing the evidence, that's her trying to find out where it went wrong and why it went wrong, and then also why she needed space. Yeah. Like, what was it in the relationship that caused her to feel like she needed space or was getting claustrophobic in that relationship?
Yeah, this is where analysis kind of merges, I feel like.
And then make it make some sense. This is her also trying to figure out, like, why does it still hurt? Because she can't seem to move on from this one relationship, and she doesn't understand why. And that's ultimately what she wants to figure out, like, why it still hurts to her, even though at this point she sort of accepted that it was a dead relationship. Yeah. And that's why it's better for her if it doesn't continue.
I agreed for sure. And then why the wound is still bleeding. So, I mean, once again, why is it still hurting? Why is the wound still bleeding? Why do I still love this person? Even though they ditched me like an outlaw. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Why does it still hurt after all this time? Like, in my analysis, it's been probably a few months since the breakup, and usually she would have moved on by now, or at least felt better. But now she's still, like, crying over a hat, which is very much like the smallest things can set her off down this catastrophically blue path. But she can't figure out why it still hurts, because she knows that the relationship, it's better if it did end, just because of the nature of the relationship.
Yeah, precisely. You were the one that I loved. Yeah, I mean, obvious. You were the one that I loved, like, this whole time. Evelyn Celia, you were the one who I loved this whole time.
For me, this was a eureka moment, not for me, for the protagonist of the song. It's like, she realized that's why it still hurts, because
you were the one.
This was the one relationship where she truly loved a person and got the chance to be, like, very attached to them. This love felt real to her, whereas other loves, maybe she thought it felt real, and then pretty soon after, or even during, she realized that it didn't feel real. This one was different, and she thought it would be permanently different. Yeah, it hits different, exactly.
And then, don't need another metaphor. It's simple enough. I mean, I feel like Taylor hasn't written a lot of sapphic songs, even though it's been rumored. Well, there are not a lot of songs that are sapphic rumored, but I mean, I guess she doesn't need to write another song, and because she's already given words to confess, like, she doesn't even need to give words to confess anymore. So that's it.
I would just say I love this section because she says,
I like it too.
Don't need another metaphor. It's simple enough. And then she follows it, like, literally immediately with a metaphor. Yeah. Which is so Taylor Swift, and I just love it. But this, it's like, I mean, this don't need another metaphor. It's simple enough. Like, she can see it plainly now. Yeah. Like, it's just a matter of accepting it. Right. And then applying it.
Yeah. Like, metaphors are kind of this twisted, like, half hiding, and, like, if you get it, you get it. But, like, now she just almost wants to, like, scream it out. And
the truth is no longer hiding.
Precisely.
She's gonna stop pretending that it's...
Yeah. And then, a wrinkle in time, like the crease by your eyes. So obviously, a wrinkle in time is like this one recurring moment, at least in my head. A wrinkle in time could have a lot of different approaches. And then, you know, I feel like she's just recurring this moment where she sees this crease in her eyes, like all these various smiles that the lover puts on multiple times as this wrinkle in time. And I can feel this being like a great movie scene.
That's what I was just picturing, like an epic movie scene in my mind. But I definitely, my analysis was the same, like the visions of like flashes of her lover's eye, and the crease by her eye, it indicates a smile. Like when you smile, your eyes crease generally as you get older, I think. The crow's feet, everything. So like it would seem like this memories of happy times, and she just keeps replaying them over and over in her head, still sort of trying to figure out where it went wrong, even though she knows now that there's no reviving it. She just wants to find out where it went wrong, so she's replaying the happy times to see if she can figure out why.
Yeah. And then she says, this is why they shouldn't kill off the main guy. And I feel like it's like entertainment almost. Like, she's this like entertaining, like indecisive, relatable character. But then by killing off the main guy, by removing this person's love, she's just this catastrophic blue. So I guess killing off the main guy is like her way of saying, like, don't make me sad in love. I don't know. Okay, go on.
For this one, it took main guy as in, like, all the other people she's dated in the past have been basically Kens. Okay. So, like, they didn't mean as much to her as this guy. And it's not that he is the main character out of a bunch of side characters currently. It's just, like, this is the one relationship that she loved.
That. I find that interesting because... Well, go ahead.
This is why if you find someone to be, like, your main guy, the one you choose to love forever, you should make sure that it's mutual, because...
Yeah.
Otherwise, you end up in this sort of desperate state of having it hit different and not being able to heal and not knowing why.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting how you took the main guy as a lover, and I took the main guy as Taylor herself. Like, her describing herself as, like, this main character. And I feel like at this point, she doesn't even feel like the main character because she's downgraded herself so many times from all this love. Like, she's not deserving of love, therefore she's not the main guy. So she's almost killed herself off, I guess. The next lyric, dreams of your hair and your stare and sense of belief. Okay, so go ahead.
Well, this line, it's just like memories. Like, this is very reminded me of, like, the way you look and the way you look at me. That's what she's remembering. Which, I don't know, this was a pretty straightforward line to me. Like,
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, a sense of belief I connect to the next line, but this, your hair and your stare, it's basically just, like, the way I saw you, sort of, and you being around me close enough that I can see your hair, and it's almost, like, very close, too, if you can see someone's hair properly.
Yeah.
And your stare is also, like, you acknowledging me, you seeing me. That's what she misses.
Well, I didn't really take those qualities specifically, but I think dreams of your hair and your stare kind of represent just thoughts of this person laying in her head. Like, this person is a thought in her head, and she recollects this person. And then the sense of belief being, like, believing that they are in love. And then go ahead and connect that. The next line is, in the good world you believed. You and what? Go ahead, just read it. Just read it.
And sense of belief in the good in the world you once believed in me. So this is like, she loved the way that this person was an optimist to match her pessimism.
Yeah.
Because I think that, at least it seems to me like Taylor Swift is a bit of a pessimist at times.
In this song.
Not necessarily in this song, just like the way she describes her thought process through some of her songs, I get the sort of sense that she might be.
Okay.
Or maybe the world has taught her to be because we've seen all their struggles. But I think, regardless of the actual Taylor Swift, like, the protagonist in this song is a pessimist. And that's why the other person fits so well, because this other person believed there was good in the world, and that nicely complemented the pessimism of the main character.
Yeah.
And then the once believed in me, like, once upon a time they considered her to be a good thing in the world, something to be, like, idolized and something to revel in because she's so good.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, like, the good in the world being, like, I saw good in the world because of you, and you believed in me, meaning you believed in our relationship. And I felt, okay, next lyrics. And I felt you, and I held you for a while. Yeah, so the good in the world coming from them having these intimate moments.
And I would say, like, I could feel that you were near to me. That's what felt you meant, and held you for a while. It's like you were there for me and I was there for you, and I could hold on to you as something tangible, something more tangible than my previous relationships. But for a while, it's like now she's definitely acknowledged the fact that it's over.
Yeah. And then, but I could still melt your, I love this story, okay. But I could still melt your world. So even after this person left them, I mean, did you also take that? Okay. And then argumentative, antithetical dream girl. Do you want to explain this, or should I explain it?
Well, but you could still melt your world. This is, to me, like, she's in her sober, she's sort of sober now and solemn, and she's just thinking, like, I bet now if I wanted to, I could go back to you, and you would still love me, fall for me, not necessarily love me, but just, like, fall for me, melt your world, basically. Yeah. And then argumentative, antithetical dream girl. The argumentative is pretty straightforward, at least to me. It's like she argues over small things, which makes her like the opposite of a dream girl. That's what antithetical dream girl. She considers herself like a terrible girlfriend, not necessarily a terrible girlfriend, but like that's how she sees herself, as not the ideal girlfriend, because she argues over the small things and nitpicks. Yeah. And she's the opposite of a dream girl.
Yeah, I kind of took this in the other way around, so, I mean, that I could still melt your world, pretty obvious, but, argumentative, so, like, I think this last line is, directed to the lover. So the lover is this argumentative, antithetical dream girl, because they can't accept the love. It's like opposing to the love that Taylor gives, which is why Taylor says, I bet I could still melt your world, but you're still my dream world girl. No matter how much you fight against me, no matter how much you fight against our love, it still persists, it still exists. So I think that's what she was trying to get at with this line. Yay. Okay, last little verse. I heard your key turn in the door down the hallway. Okay, well, do we want to explain this separately, because it's like this one cohesive little paragraph?
Yeah, we can explain this.
Okay, so let's just first read the verse. The verse is, I heard your key turn in the door down the hallway. Is that your key in the door? Is it okay? Is it you? Or have they come to take me away? Take me away. So, do you want to go first?
All right. So I love this verse. Like,
me too.
There's just something about the main character of a storyline descending into madness that I find absolutely appealing. So I heard your key turn in the door. It's like she's seeing false signs of the person in her delusions, and like being led on almost by the world. Yeah. Because she sees them everywhere, and so she hears this like key turn in the door. She thinks they're coming back. This is sort of like drunk 2 a.m. sleep deprived delusions. That are very different than her like sober realizations. She's almost like in this psychotic state of like going crazy, but not actually, like air quotes going crazy. She heard the key turn. She's asking, is that key turn? And then, is it okay? Is everything okay? Like, is the person who's having delusion, is she going to be okay again because this person came back to her? And then, are you back and you're going to heal me when being back? You're going to make my life okay again? That's why, is it you? Or have they come to take me away? This is like, or am I crazy, basically? Am I imagining things? Also, I took this as also, they could be the media and the industry, the music industry, and they're coming to make Taylor, like, play concerts and make music while she's in this painful and still sort of reeling from the breakup state. They're coming to take her away and force her to, like, move on and continue.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely thought of a similar thing, but I actually gave this like a whole storyline. So basically Taylor is at her apartment, and I mean, I'd like to assume that they have an apartment together, and you know, they have a key, they each have a key to the apartment, except Taylor's not in the apartment. Taylor is in the hallway of, like, right near the door of the apartment, and Taylor's like a ghost at this apartment, and she's like watching
the lover do all of these things. The lover finally returns back to the apartment after skipping town or whatever. And, you know, is that your key? Turning the door down the hallway. She watches her from down the hallway. And then, is that your key in the door? She, like, questions this. She's like, are you coming back to reclaim your love? Like, are you coming back for me? And then she asks, is it okay? Meaning, is it okay for her to come out, stop being a ghost, to reunite their love? And is it you? Is it you meaning, like, is it really you? Like, I can't, like, imagine that you're back again. And then, or have they come to take me away? It's, like, almost this, like, it's giving, like, there's this one movie, it's called, like, But I'm a Cheerleader, I think? Yeah, the one which is, like...
That's a horror movie?
It's not a horror movie.
Yeah, no, it's not a horror
movie. It's, like,
movie.
a chick flick movie.
Yeah, chick flick, but, like...
Kind of.
Not lesbian
really.
chick flick.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a chick flick-ish kind of movie, but when did I say horror?
I thought you said horror. Did you say horror?
No. I mean, it's kind of creepy at points, but not really, because it kind of freaked me out, I think. But not really. Anyway, so, or have they come to take me away? Like, have they come to, like, remove me from my sins, or, like, say that everything I've ever done is horrible and, like, I suck or whatever. So, and then she kind of says, take me away again in the not question form. And I feel like she's like, take me away from these people who are trying to take me away. So, yeah, that's kind of what she's like, oh, well, save me now. Like, I need you to come here and save me. I'm your little Scarlet. Okay, anyway, yeah, chorus 2 times. Great song. That's it. That's all we have left to particularly analyze. Analysis rating.
Analysis rating 6.
7.5. Overall song rating
8.
Agreed. I was about to say 8.
Yeah,
8.1. So yeah, there we go. That's Hits Different for you. So,
yes. So
that's all we have for you today.
Yep. Thank you for listening. Always overanalyze.
Yeah, and farewell. How does this turn on?
Just
Okay.
the red one.
Bye.